Okay, we have Tim Warner with us. He is a comedian and a bona fide legend who escaped from New York to follow his dreams. Real life Snake Plissken. I wanna know everything, man. We saw you on an episode of Kill Tony, episode 499. Episode 499. Yep. And
yes,
I don't really watch Kill Tony that often. Sean got me into it. But here's what happened.
Yeah.
I just decided to watch it. I was like, why not? Like Donald, I'm not a fan of Donald Rollins. I'm a fan of Dave Chappelle, but he was on it. So I was like, all right, let's check it out. And I'm going through it. I'm having a giggle, having a laugh. And then you come on. And as soon as you come on, it took me back to my first days of watching Bill Hicks, of watching George Carlin, where like I felt like someone had planted a seed in my brain. And I was like, you only get a minute on this show. So I was gutted. I was like, I want to hear more. But the interview was good.
Yeah. That's fucking... That's thank you. That's some amazing company. So to be up there for a minute, I don't know why this guy's got to mow the lawn now. I apologize, but I don't have a home. So this is what your listeners are going to have to deal with.
No fixed abode.
Does that sound bad?
Nah, it sounds like it just sounds like Edward Scissorhands is having a good time.
Okay. Yeah, anyway, to be up there for a minute and to have you mention those names, I mean, that means the fucking universe. So thank you for that. I appreciate that a ton.
It's that anti-authoritarian style of, the problem is with comedy, right? Growing up as a kid, the big names in the UK were people like Lee Evans or Peter Kay. And these people, they were successful in the sense that they would sell out, not just sell out theaters, they would sell out airport hangars. We're talking 10,000 people a show. But their comedy was comforting. Their comedy was safe. It would make people laugh because it was based on everyday idiosyncrasies. And as you get older, it's like, no, I don't want to hear about everyday shit.
And the more riskier comedians would get an 18 slapped on their DVD.
Yeah, they get an R-rated 18 slapped on. So, George Carlin comes along and he's saying things that makes me think, oh my God, like I'd always thought this, but I could never really articulate it into words. And then he comes along, I'm like, oh, that resonates with me. And then you come along and I'm getting a hint of that. I'm like, all right, this is something I haven't seen for a long time. And it's important.
Wow.
That type of comedy needs to come back because I know there's a lot of people, you've got your Bill Burrs, you've got your Joe Rogans, and they're good at what they do. But someone who just doesn't give a fuck to say what needs to be said.
Yeah, first of all, this is new to me. And what I mean by that is, dude, I've been fucking kicking dirt in fucking New York for I don't even know how many years. And I've been loved in patches. The whole city never really kind of took me in. And now that, I escaped the medicinal martial law of New York City to live in my car, to travel America, to try to find 2019 again, and to be in Austin, Texas, and to have the responses that I'm getting. I mean, I was just in Huntsville, Alabama. I did a show Friday, and I had a gentleman come up to me afterwards that said things very similar to what you said, where he was like, dude, I haven't seen something like that in years, dude. That is like some Lenny Bruce-esque type of shit. And the thing is, I guess there's people that look at what I'm saying on stage as risque or, I don't know, challenging, like the mainstream fucking quo or whatever else. But I don't see it as that. To me, this is normal. Like this is what's happening in the world, and this is what should be talked about. So I don't look at what I'm doing as like, or I don't see it as like risque or anything of that nature. I appreciate it. I don't know. I'm looking at this fucking world, dude, and I'm writing down what I see and then trying to put a fucking dick joke at the end of it. You know what I mean? so people will listen. So maybe I can fucking sell out a hanger one day.
No, you don't want to sell out.
You don't want to sell out a hanger because what? Let me tell you a story about this Lee Evans. I don't mind talking shit about this guy because I don't know him. I don't know. I went to one of his things, right? So as a kid, he was a very in the 90s. That's when he came about, and he was very.
All Lee Evans trash talk is on All Dance Baby.
Right, Lee Evans, right? He came onto the scene in the 90s, right? And this guy, like, he was rags to riches, right? He deserved his success that came his way. And in the 90s, he was very theatrical. He's very flamboyant, very physical, and he'd sweat a lot. And he was a funny guy. But then he got into his 40s, and we're in the 2000s, and he'd do a tour every 3 years. But then he'd do the occasional like charity event. But the charity event would consist of him saying the same jokes he said in the last tour. And that broke my heart. That made me think, hang on a minute. I want to see him do not just sell out airport hangers. I want to see him do open mic sessions like Louis C.K. Like Louis C.K. does the big theaters. He did the Beacon Theater in New York. But then his next tour, he did, he did at the Comedy Store. He went straight back to a smaller audience. I'm thinking, why can't these so-called big comedians in the UK just go back to just doing open mic sessions and film that? So I was disappointed in that regard. And again, every 3 years he'd bring out a new DVD and it'd be the same jokes. And it's like, no. Do a George Carlin, write a new hour.
I think he had a fucking sweat contraption underneath his jacket as well, just to fucking
This guy would sweat. And it wasn't challenge. Again, it was comforting. Oh, you're gonna make 20 million pounds if you do the same shit jokes you did 3 years ago. Well, okay. And then he retired. He vanished after 2014.
But don't the audiences kind of take blame as well for that?
Oh yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
They're the ones. I mean, I can get the first DVD and buy that. You go, okay, I like this guy. The second DVD, you buy that, and you go, oh, geez, sounds a lot like the first one. And then you buy the third one, and it sounds like the first two. Well, you know what? That's on you.
Yeah,
I think that's on you. And the thing is, a lot of people will point out and say that there's a lot of crap out there in the artist scene, but it's like, can I see your Spotify playlist? Oh, what do you know? You've got a lot of crap on your fucking playlist. Like, you're at fault as well. These people don't make money out of thin air. It's not like they work for the Federal Reserve that just print out money whenever they want. No, we have to buy the money from the Federal Reserve with an interest, mind you. So then we have to ask the Federal Reserve to print that interest, right? So we're always in debt. And then we take this money and then we put it towards the Lee Evans of the world. That's on us. That's just on us.
We've been doing it for years.
It's bad. Yeah, it's bad enough we're trapped in a system where we're always going to be slaves. We're always going to be in debt. It's made that way, and it's not going to get any better. Well, maybe you should put your money towards better artists, huh? Maybe.
Yeah. The best way to describe this.
Because I don't blame that guy. If I could do the same joke for fucking 7 years and make 20 million pounds, dude, I'll do that joke right now 15 times in a row. I don't give a fuck. I don't blame the guy. It sounds like he sweats when he thinks. He doesn't want to do that. So yeah, let's put out another DVD with the same joke and we'll put a different fucking cover on it and they'll buy it. Yeah, that's your fault.
Not my fault. Fuck Lee Evans.
Yeah, I pirated the DVD. Fuck him.
Yeah, there you go. Burn it or something or give it away. But Jesus Christ, dude. Some of it is the audience's fault.
I had a friend with cerebral palsy who was a big fan of him. And he was gay, so that's why he liked to hang out with me. He was like 15 years older than me. I think he was trying to groom me, but he was a nice guy. He was a good host. And he said, oh, I got a new Lee Evans DVD. You want to come watch it with me? And I said, okay. So I went around his house and we watched it. And I was like, this is the same shit as last time. Fuck me.
What year was that?
His name was Billy. Like, I feel sorry for Billy, right? Not only did he have cerebral palsy.
What year was that?
Oh, right. Oh, I thought you wanted to know about
Billy.
2011.
Well, talk about Billy if you want. I don't mind.
We'll talk about Billy in a minute, but 2011 was the DVD. It was the second to last DVD. But yeah, all right. Before getting to Billy, right? The best way to describe this type of British comedian, when they film it, they'll film the comedian says a joke, And then the camera then switches to the audience, and you'll see that the ugly wife, pointing to the husband. You do that too. That's the kind of comedy I fucking hate.
Dad comedy.
Yeah.
Dad comedy.
Well, if it makes you feel better, when they cut to the audience and they show that lady pointing, that probably didn't happen at that moment in time, and they just edited it all in. It's all a fucking show, buddy.
Yeah.
Why are you disappointed? It's all wrestling, buddy. All of it.
What's a Ricky Gervais maybe, but what's a big British comedian that's made it into America? Sure.
Anyone? what about Eddie Izzard? He's pretty brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, he is actually. Yeah, he's dope. I like his Izzard.
I mean, I thought Dress to Kill is a very good special.
That was back in '97, wasn't it? Ciao.
Yeah. Yeah.
The Izzard's brilliant.
He had a string of like 3-4 specials in a row that were pretty hot, and he was fucking actually talking about some shit too. You know,
late '90s, early 2000s.
I mean, technically, I guess you could say Bill Hicks.
Bill Hicks was one of the few comedians to break it in the UK back in the day.
But he wasn't popular here, and then he went to the UK, and then he died, and then he became popular.
Yeah. Are you familiar with Philip K. Dick, the sci-fi author?
Yeah.
He was completely by the time he died, just before he died, his books were out of print, and his only audience was in France. The French loved Philip K. Dick, but the Americans couldn't give a fuck at the time. And then obviously Blade Runner comes out and he dies, and then he becomes an institution. But yeah, again, it's weird where you find your fame. It's very weird. Like you found, you've already found your first bit. I know you got a lot of fame coming your way, but you found your first little bit of it here in the UK,
Okay. I'll take that.
I'm not I don't mean to kiss your ass, man. I want to support you,
Oh, I appreciate it. But
what's I don't know
if this is what fame is, nothing's changed. I'm still gonna go to sleep in a Walmart parking lot tonight. Like,
at least you can. In the UK, you get fined for that.
Yeah, no, we'd get fucking put in a uncomfy cell.
Yeah.
I mean, which is still a place to sleep overnight, but it's not worth it.
You can't even sleep overnight in Walmart here in the UK. We call it Asda.
Why can't you?
Because it's you're allowed to park there for 3 hours.
We'd have to pay.
But do they have a person with a fucking timer? What do you mean? You can only park there for 3 hours.
No, but
what is this?
I think cops just drive by. I don't know. It's not very fair.
It's just, I don't know. Like people, you know what it's like the Milgram Experiment. You ever heard of the Milgram Experiment? All right. So they did a test. The Milgram Experiment was performed in 1962. So you had a scientist, which was a person in a lab coat who had a clipboard.
Okay.
And the
a Fauci.
Yeah, and then the participant
sounds like a Fauci. Okay.
Yeah, well, you're gonna love this, right? So the participant of the Milgram Experiment, right? They were volunteer, but they didn't know all they were told was you have to follow the orders of the guy in the white lab coat, and they would be asking questions through a microphone, like I am, to a third party that they don't know, had never seen, and they would ask it questions. If the third party, who by the way was a stoolie, they were in on it, but the participant didn't know this. They would ask questions, but if the third party got the question wrong, they would have to admit an electrical shock to the third party in the other room. And each electrical shock would get more and more powerful. But over time, the participant would be like, I'm not comfortable with this. The white lab coat in the room would say, this is all part of the procedure. Please continue. And then after the 8th buzz, there were 10 in total. After the 8th buzz, the third party become unresponsive, even though they've been yelling to please don't, even though it's all an act. But please don't. Anyway, the whole test was designed to show compliance in the presence of someone in a position of authority with a white lab coat. That was the Milgram Experiment in 1962. And the results are fucking frightening. Mostly women complied.
I would set my alarm for 2 hours and 45 minutes, and I'd wake up and move my car. That's what I would do. 3 hour timer, and you're telling me you got your little pansy cops coming around to make sure? Fuck you. I would move every 2 hours and 45 minutes. I would move 8 times a day, and I would still be in that Walmart parking lot.
Yeah.
That is fucking ridiculous. And you know what? That story, that test there is a great analogy for exactly how we are being as people in a society. Just fucking rolling over and letting people telling us how to dictate our existence and how to dictate our lives and what we can do. You're now creating, you're going to, not only do we have poor, middle class, and rich, you're going to have tiers of each. It's almost, the World Economic Forum calls this the Great Reset. And to me, at least in America, this seems like we have baseball here, and sometimes they have realignment where, you'll have 2 conferences, and then all of a sudden for marketing reasons or whatever, they start making divisions and they put certain teams. There has been a complete realignment of fucking everything happening, and everyone is just being fucking cool with it. It's
funny you should say that.
Amazing to me.
They've just introduced the thing now where like certain football teams of a nature, like big football teams, will go into their own league.
You mean soccer?
Soccer. They start going into their own league, like a franchise, like basketball when they do the playoff thing. Right. And it's not like, do you know what I mean? The people at the top are always going to be at the top. It's not fair for everyone else. Do you know what I mean? Like, when was the last time Detroit Pistons won the fucking playoffs?
Sometimes, dude, that's mentality. Sometimes that is a fucking culture thing. Like, for example, here we have the American football, right? We have the Pittsburgh Steelers, okay? They're always in the fucking playoff hunt. They're always, every year. Why? Because it's a fucking culture that Pittsburgh has. So some of that is culture where, like, some of these losing teams just have a fucking losing mindset, and they do loser things, wherein the Patriots or the Steelers, they don't make a lot of mistakes. They practice in a certain way with a certain mentality. There's a certain culture. So sometimes it's just like, I feel like, for example, dude, I used to be a fucking drunk. I used to be an addict. And to me, that was a loser mentality. I used to think that the world was not out to get me, but the reason why I wasn't succeeding was because of the outside world. Sometimes I would go on stage and say things, and I would go, you know what? They can't handle what I'm saying, so forth. No, I was being a loser and having a loser mentality and not taking shit on myself. And I think that's what a lot of things are, wherein, like, what is going on with this medicinal martial law? This is how military weakens the will of their enemy. And by saying, hey, you can't celebrate Christmas. You can't do New Year's. You can't, but Valentine's Day you can. But you can't do St. Patrick's Day. You can't do this. It is unbelievable to me that I live in a culture of this mindset. And it's also, though, there's so much accelerated change. When the fuck can you stop and ask a goddamn question? That's what's amazing. And then it's just like high school or junior high. When you ask a question, all the dumb kids in the back are making fun of you for fucking asking questions. And the next thing you know, your rights are being taken away. You got to have a fucking QR code on your phone just to be able to go see a goddamn Dave Matthews Band concert. The fuck is happening?
Dave Matthews Band doesn't.
We're becoming part of this. We're becoming part of this transhumanism era, where I did a lot of studying of Ray Kurzweil, and he wrote a book in 2005 called The Singularity is Near. I got a novel coming.
I read The Age of Spiritual Machines that he wrote in 1999.
Yeah. So I done The Singularity is Near, and I did How to Create a Mind. So I did the 2005. I want to read the 1999 one, but I was studying it for a novel. I spent 4 years writing this novel. It's done now.
Oh, wow.
And Ray Kurzweil was a big inspiration for it, because it does talk about the growth of artificial intelligence and that, that Alan Turing quote, You know, should a machine become more intelligent, more thinking than us, then where should we be? What would then become our purpose? And we're seeing this sort of transhumanism happening now, where the machines are becoming more like humans, and the humans are becoming more like machines. And there's this crossover coming over. And 150 years from now, I think it'll be amazing. But I hate being part of that generation where it's in the fucking infancy of it. It's like, I don't want to be a part of this. I want to live my biological life and then do what the fuck you want. Don't be trying to, you know, because private corporations are coming in and trying to benefit and make a few bucks from it on their side. It's like, I know it's inevitable, but then what happens 100 years from now when that fucking solar flare comes and wipes out our entire digital infrastructure?
Well, that'll be 2039 when the grid goes down.
Yeah, what happened in '87 last time? Wiped out Toronto.
Yeah, well, every 19 years, dude, there's some chaotic thing that happens. You know what I mean? Where it's like, I happen to call 2020 a war on hope and traditions. If you look at 19 years before that, we had 2001. We had the war on terror. Now, all of the things I'm mentioning, they're all basically created to take away civil liberties and freedoms and personal freedoms. So as you can see now, in order to live life, you're going to have your fucking papers or whatever else. It looks like that's what we're going to. In 2001, Department of Homeland Security was made in America. And it was supposed to go after all the Osama bin Ladens of the world. But I even knew back then it was going to be coming for us, because at the end of the day, I mean, more than likely, Osama bin Laden was a CIA agent named Timothy Osman, who was put in there during the Cold War with Russia and Afghanistan back in the fucking 80s, for Christ's sakes. What was my point of all that?
We're talking about transhumanism.
No, I got into. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Sorry. So with all of this artificial intelligence, with how with how
oh boy,
with how everything is falling into place. I don't know. I'm not too hip on it, because the human condition to me is so fascinating. And to be losing that, like, I like death. I think death is great, because death makes fucking time important. It makes it valuable. And if you already look at what we do with our fucking time, I mean, there's people that spent this weekend binge watching some stupid fucking show on Netflix that's going to do nothing for their life other than make them feel comfortable when they're in social situations and people bring up this TV show. But
have you read the Tibetan book of Living and Dying? That's like
no.
No?
I've read some of it, but I haven't sat down. And you're talking about the Tibetan Book of the Dead?
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't sat down with it. You know,
I mean, I read it on a long train journey, and fucking it made me comfortable with death. You know, it made me not fear it when I used to. Like, do you know what I mean?
Why would you? Why would you? It's the one thing we all have in common.
That's the question. That's not even the question. It's the point.
We all are going to do it. That's why it's like, you know, you get these fucking mask Nazis, you know, they're like, hey, put it above your nose. And it's like, hey, stupid. Do you know these, you know, you think these masks are going to make death stop killing us? Like, you're fucking dead. You're dead. Every minute that goes by is another step closer to death. And it's like, how the fuck do you want to live? Like, there's so many people that are scared to die, but now I'm realizing there are so many more people scared to fucking live.
That's true.
You know, like you're scared to death. Dude, it seems like there's a lot of people that are scared to fucking live their lives. I don't know. I got a lot of shit in New York because I decided to go outside during the summer and explore New York. And it was the fucking greatest, dude. It was the absolute greatest until the virus came out. And that's when people started coming outside again. New York was fucking amazing without people. And once the people started coming out, that's when I realized I don't know if I could live in New York City with people again. I don't. So the city, dude, the buses were free. So I literally would go anywhere in New York. Anywhere. You name it, dude. I put an eighth of weed in my pocket. Let's go. Where are we going? I delivered food to fucking hospitals on Mondays so I could get a closer look of everything. And you know what? Didn't see all the fear that they fucking fed us on the goddamn news. I'll tell you that much. And I even have some of it in my podcast, The Joker and the Rye. There's some episodes where I went around New York and fucking taped shit and whatever else. I went by, what was that dumb USS fucking Friendship or whatever dumb fucking air carrier that they brought here.
Like Navy ship they brought in.
Yeah. It was here for 2 days because one of the staff members got COVID, so they had to get it the fuck out of here. But I went by that dumb thing for 2 days. You know, it was all a fucking song and dance show. It was just like mission accomplished with George Bush after the Iraq War, in which we still got people over in Afghanistan that might get out on September 11th.
Yeah, we had someone on the podcast that done a documentary.
Yeah, he was in Afghanistan, and then he went AWOL. And he wrote a book on why I won't return on the war on why I won't return to the war on terror. It goes back to something we said earlier. We're talking about human biology. There is a cyclical system. The human body. It takes 6 weeks. It takes 6 weeks for blood cells to replenish themselves. It takes something like 4 weeks for skin cells to replenish themselves. It takes 7 years for the skeleton to replenish itself. So every 7 years, we're a new person.
Yes. That is very true. That is very true. But then again, are we really people?
I think we live in a.
Are you really you? You know what I mean? Am I really Tim Warner? It's just fucking. We're just energy, dude. This doesn't even exist.
I think we live in a simulation for sure.
Oh, without a doubt. Without a doubt.
Fucking blew my mind. I watched a video by Vsauce about touching. How we don't actually touch anything.
Yeah, we don't touch. Atoms don't touch.
That fucking blew my mind. Like.
This is
even talking about it blows my mind.
I'm not sitting on this chair, dude.
Dude, this is all beyond amazing. It has to be a simulation. I mean, dude, look at the things that we could do as human beings. You know what I mean? Like, we can come today. We can do that. We can come and have that feeling of orgasm. Like, we could do that every single day. Well, you know what I mean?
Every hour if it's lockdown.
Yeah, dude. We could eat, you can eat mushrooms and experience other dimensions. You could smoke DMT and travel the fucking universe without leaving your goddamn living room.
Oh, shit.
And you're gonna tell me that this is real? Stop it.
Hey,
stop it right
now.
Do
you know what the French word for orgasm is?
No.
La petite mort, the small death.
Let them off?
La petite mort, which means small death.
Come, that killed me. Sorry.
So yeah,
but it's true, dude. You know what I mean? It's like there's so much amazement that we can do. Even just fucking listening to a song, like having someone create music, whether it's a guitar, a saxophone, piano, it doesn't matter. The fact that we do that, dancing, the fact that like, dude, this is pretty goddamn amazing. And for some reason, gratitude is something that isn't expressed. Like, the news should end. Every news episode should end with 1 minute of fucking gratitude. I don't understand why there isn't practice of fucking gratitude. It's the closest way to live in the goddamn moment is to be grateful for it. I mean, Jesus, look behind me. See these trees? Dude, you ever heard of photosynthesis? It's why we can breathe. This is amazing. You know what else is amazing? If you look at tree branches, they look like lungs. It's really fucking amazing. That's how we breathe. That's how they breathe. I don't know. This shit is so fucking utterly amazing and so fucking beautiful. And for whatever reason, the media and now social media is just the only way a dictatorship could thrive is if you keep a country divided 50-50. And that's all they're trying to do. They're trying to show us the 2% of division that actually happens in the world. They make it look like it's happening 99% of the time. It's not.
Yeah, that's what wears me down. Yeah, I mean, there was a book called The Culture of Fear, which was written back in '99. That was an interesting read. And that talks about how you put the lens on one particular incident just right there, an isolated incident, and you put the lens there as a sort of news. The news media puts it there, the mainstream media, and they play it over and over and over. I mean, an interesting film to watch is Nightcrawler with Jake Gyllenhaal. And
yeah.
And, you see the producer herself. I can't remember her name, but she was a Lethal Weapon. And you see her as a producer saying, go back in there, say such and such, say this, say that, hold that shot, hold that shot. You know what I mean? That's how the news actually works. I know that's a movie, man, but that's a great fucking take on, because that was an independent movie. So they didn't have to tick any boxes with any studio executives, man. That was Jake Gyllenhaal's little passion project. He got that shit made himself.
The video of the newscast when they think they're finished and it zooms out and it's all just an act. It's like not even a real. Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're just fucking shuffling their papers, having a good fucking time, and then like, there, go fuck yourself. Yeah,
I mean, some years ago there was like a Tea Party movement here, and it was kind of connected with like, extreme conservative, Republican, whatever else.
The Boston Tea Party?
No. It was another thing. Like, it was with that idea, but there was, what the fuck was it? Because it was supposed to be very like Trump-esque. And then here's my point, because it's shortly after there was Occupy Wall Street, and being in New York, I was heavily involved with it. I mean, they asked me to come down and perform like the fifth day. One of the dudes who wrote the Constitution for Occupy saw my set before and thought I'd be perfect to come down and do some comedy, whatever. And that's how I got involved with them. And there was a point when news started coming down to Zuccotti. And I noticed that they were taking the shots and trying to interview the crazies that were down there, and not necessarily the intellectual people that could actually have a conversation, that could actually make some points with some clarity and whatever else. They were getting the people, the drum circles, or that one girl who's got paint all over her face and her shirt off, and she's dancing like it's 1969 Woodstock. Let's film her. And that made me start to think, because I went and watched the news that night, and I watched how they painted Occupy. And then it started to make me think maybe that Tea Party thing to be, and it's like I would go to I remember I went to a Bernie Sanders rally, and I went to a Donald Trump rally, and it's very interesting now how they position people behind the politicians, and they pick the people to put behind the politicians, and they give them the signs and the American flag, and to make this look and to make this show. And, the sad thing is a lot of people are buying, you put something on TV and people will eat it up, I
got an interesting one for you. So I was watching a documentary my mother a couple of years ago, and it was about the British paparazzi, but not the British paparazzi, like people who do like these magazines, not newsworthy, but like just trashy celebrity gossip shit.
Like Zoo and Nuts.
Yeah, not Nuts, but more like New Magazine and all that, such and such. It's got the celebrities plastered all over it, and says such and such is worried about getting pregnant, blah, blah, blah. Hear her story. Yeah. But anyway, so the documentary is covering how these journalists, the extremes that they went to get their photograph that's going to pay them 50 grand, for example, right? And they themselves even said on the documentary, we just take the photos, the editors make the stories up. And my mum's watching this, and then since then, she still fucking reads the magazines, knowing that the editors just make it up.
Exact fucking same.
Like, you watched the documentary with me, and you're still buying the fucking magazine.
I mean, dude, in this country, Joe Biden and President Harris are going around the country. Sorry, that one's for me. But going around the country, and they're doing a tour for this vaccine, for one of the 3 vaccines, right? And
he still fucking walk.
Well, it's a very Weekend at Bernie's. I mean, with that guy, that's why it's President Harris. I mean, come on, dude. Our president is not Joe Biden.
Bit like how Dick Cheney was actually president, you know?
Yes, exactly. And so they're going on tour for this vaccine and whatever else. And it's like, if health is really the issue, then how come Magic Johnson hasn't had a festival for his fucking AIDS medication? It makes no sense to me. First of all, AIDS, right? It stopped us from doing drugs and fuck it. Well, that's two things that happen at a festival. I don't understand why Magic Johnson every year doesn't have a festival for the fact that he only has HIV, he doesn't have AIDS. But now they're going to do a tour for, and get ready for it, Pfizer, who has the biggest out-of-court settlement of any big pharma company, $2.3 billion in 2009. And then you have Johnson & Johnson. Not only the blood clots, but they have, asbestos in the baby powder, metal in the baby food. And then the third one is Moderna, who's working with IBM to make sure that people are getting IBM tagged Jews in World War II for the Nazis. These are three fucking choices that they're going on tour for. And everybody said that Donald Trump was pure evil. Can we throw Biden and Harris into that group too? Jesus
people
Christ.
You know,
No, they won't.
you know, people, the problem is that people have short memories, right? So here's another interesting story about my mother, right? And she's a great and beautiful woman. So I don't mean to disparage her in any way.
She's a very nice woman.
She's a great woman, but this was back in 2012, right? And I read 1984 for the first time back in 2012. And
holy shit.
Yeah, I loved it. I've read it like a dozen times since. I always go back to it. One, it's beautifully written, and secondly, it's always relevant. But there was one scene in 1984 where Winston, he works for what's known as the Ministry of Truth, and they deal in lies. I'll give him a second.
Oh, keep going, man.
Oh, keep going. Okay.
Yeah, please.
So, sorry, I could just hear a lot of interference. That's all.
That's all right. I'm just grabbing another cup.
Oh, no worries.
Go on. Ministry of Lies. I'm with
so
you.
he works in the Ministry of Truth, which deals in lies. So his job
Yes.
is to rewrite, just so, because I don't think Sean's read this. So he has to rewrite the news over and over again with the rest of his department. And he has to write that the chocolate ration is going from 30 grams a week down to 20 grams a week, right? And then a week later, it's announced by the congratulations, our war in India has been won. The chocolate ration is going up to 20 grams a week. And everyone's like, hooray, even though he knew himself that it had gone down from 30 grams. So here's where it happened in reality. I'm in the car with my mum, right? And we drive past a gas station, petrol station, right? And it said £1.19 a litre. And she went, oh, wow, it's gone down. Yeah, well, not really, because a week ago, it was fucking £1.10, or like a couple of months ago, it was like £1.10. So it's actually gone up. It just went down from going up. So it never went down.
Right.
Slightly less inflated than it was a fucking 2 months ago. And I was like, oh my God, that was my first realization that 1984 was like legit.
Oh, yeah. It's, I mean, I think Mandela effect, if you ever heard of this.
I experienced it recently.
Yeah.
So when it got announced that Screech died from fresh,
yes,
I swear I saw a news article about him dying like 4 years ago.
Oh, okay.
That's a common one though with celebrities though, isn't it? Like I remember like Barry Scott, for example. I seen he was dead like fucking 5 years ago, and then there we were a couple weeks ago doing a podcast with him.
But he confirmed that people actually saying that he had died. But
since you were talking about Orwell, have you read Animal Farm?
Yes,
we read it in school, so I remember it very well.
You know, at the end of Animal Farm, when I think the horse or whatever are looking at the like 10 commandments or whatever they had like their Bill of Rights or whatever, and they're sitting there going, hey, didn't that used to say this? They're like, nah, I never said that. Whereas like, oh, freedom of speech, didn't it used to say freedom of speech there? And they're like, nah, never used to say that. That's what I think Mandela effect is. I think they're making this thing up. So when like they do take away rights or they do take away something and people go, hey, wait a minute. Didn't we used to? And you'd be like, yeah, you stupids. That's the Mandela effect. Come on. You never had that.
Philip K. Dick covered this. He covered this in his 1969 book, Ubik, where you're living in a world full of psychics and anti-psychics. And this girl called Pat Colony, she could change the present, but she didn't go back in time. She would change an element of the past, and then everybody else would lose their memory of that previous timeline and only have memories from the timeline that she had changed. And the Philip K. Dick character, Joe Chip, he's like, why are me and Pat married? I only met this girl 2 weeks ago. And he's got a wedding ring and all that. And everyone's like, oh no, we got, and he's like, shit, Pat changed the fucking timeline again.
Interesting. I'll have to check that out. I like that. That's really interesting.
Yeah, Ubik's a good book. It's probably one of his best book was A Scanner Darkly, hands down. But
yeah. I read that and I saw the movie. It wasn't that bad either.
The movie is good too, yeah, but the book just nails it. It was his best written, best book. And Ubik's a good one as well. Androids, that was my first introduction, so I like it, but I do.
Sorry I got talking all about this medicinal martial law. You probably
it's cool.
It's great, man.
Anything goes, man.
That's it. That's our motto. Anything fucking goes, bro.
My dad's gonna fucking love me for this one.
Well, I didn't know if you wanted to talk more about you wanted to ask questions more about myself and like whatever, you know.
Yeah, man.
I just
how come you escaped
going on
New
this
York
shit.
then? What was the biggest reason for it?
To me, there's a mentality there that I'm not on board with. I'm not on board with rolling over and just listening to my government. I'm not on board with censoring and this PC culture. I'm the kind of guy that back in, the 30s, I would have let Hitler speak. It's like, I don't agree with anything he says, but he has the right to fucking say that shit. And I think when, these big tech companies now, and, they are now the new not fourth industrial revolution. They're the new military industrial complex, all these tech companies. And just this idea of, to me, New York turned into a lot of people that if you don't agree with me, I ain't fucking listening to you. And I think that's where the biggest problem is. We have 2 ears and 1 mouth for a fucking reason. And we're supposed to be listening to each other more than fucking talking. And again, no one really communicates. It's just a lot of talking.
No one's up for a debate anymore.
Well, it doesn't even have to be a debate, dude.
Not technically,
what about a
discussion?
A fucking discussion, for Christ's sakes. It's just something I didn't agree with. And when I started getting shit from people that I've known for years, they love throwing out these ifs and isms. So all of a sudden I was a racist, and all of a sudden I was a Nazi. All of a sudden I'm a Trump supporter. All of a sudden I'm a fucking Republican. And I just, fuck you people. With all due respect, Trump's a piece of shit. I'm not going to fucking argue that. But a lot of people's hatred for Donald Trump has blinded them from the rest of existence. And I couldn't do it anymore. So I waited till election day. Well, what happened was, to be honest with you, I just put it out into the universe. I said that I'm going to fucking leave in 60 days in a car that I don't have, and I'm going to make money off YouTube, Patreon, and merch. And I just think it's going to work. And then, I don't know, maybe a couple of weeks later, an old friend from high school I haven't talked to in fucking, 20 some odd fucking years, whatever. He hits me up and he says, hey, you still going to fucking leave New York? Blah, blah, blah. I go, yeah. He goes, well, I'm a financial director at a Volkswagen Mazda, just north of New York. And I got a Volkswagen 2012 that came in. It's fucking perfect for what you want to do. It's diesel, whatever else. Fucking great. Okay. So we try to get the loan. He tries to, finagle it as much as he can, but my credit's shit, whatever else. So I have to get a cosign. So then I made a sign out of cardboard that basically said, I will tell jokes across the country in a 2012 Volkswagen Jetta diesel for a cosigner. And then 4 days later, I had one of my Patreon members fucking hit me up and then asked me questions about the loan. And then they co-signed the loan so I could get a car. And then I got the car. Right? They believe in me that much, dude. So fucking, pardon me, just a little COVID. And then, I waited till election day and I voted for Joe Jorgensen, the libertarian female candidate, unlike a lot of the SJWs that yelled at me all summer. They voted for a crusty white guy because they're so woke. And then I voted Republican in everything New York City, and then I left.
So a bit of a segue, but I'm kind of curious to know about once you get to Austin, Texas, and you put your name down. I know you'd been on Kill Tony previously a few years back, but I'm curious to know about episode 499. You put your name in the bucket, and how many people are attending? Like, how are you feeling? Like, walk us through it, man. I want to know.
Oh, how I felt like I don't know. I just went down. I really went there, kind of. I guess kind of as a joke, kind of, where like I was on it before, whatever else. And then a bunch of kids were like, hey, we're going to go do this. And I was like, oh, fuck it. I'll go. I guess I'll sign up. I didn't expect to get up. I mean, there's fucking 60, 70 people easily. And they're not just from Austin. I mean, there's a crew from Dallas that come in every fucking week, man. That week in particular, episode 499, I mean, there were a bunch of kids from Iowa that fucking drove down to do it. So there's 60, 70 people. That particular episode, we were standing outside, and some kid just sold me a bunch of fucking THC gummies for a decent price. So I was sitting out there mowing them, just talking to this comic, Anthony Knight, he just got in from Baltimore. And I was sitting there telling him like just how I think Austin is very Seattle 1991 right now. I think the energy, I think the grunge of comedy is coming. And I was just talking about like, the great thing is like New York, what sucks about New York is, and like why anyone would pay $2,000 a month to live in a shoebox is because there's hope. You go to New York, you could walk a block and your life could change for the worse or the better. There's hope there. And this medicinal martial law has taken hope away from New York. And now you're just paying just to stay in a place. And at the end of the day, it's just fucking land anyway, but we put value on it, but it's just fucking land. Shit. What was I talking about?
Hey, Tony, New York. 499.
Oh yeah. So, so like here, there's hope. And I was talking about like, hey man, you never know. You could get your name pulled and you could get up there and have a really good set and whatever else. And then that changes your status as a comic in Austin. And as I mowed down my second fucking gummy, all of a sudden the comics are going, hey, Warner, you're up. And I fucking ran in. I didn't know anything that happened when it came to
you
Danielle.
Straight after fucking Danielle as well.
Yeah, I had no clue what happened. Like I said, I was just talking with a kid, having a good time, eating some gummies, and then they called my name, and then I went in, And when I walked up to the stage, I noticed that Danielle wasn't there. And I thought about it for about a second. And then I was just like, well, fuck it. I'm going to do my fucking side effects bit. So here we go.
That was good. I like that. I like that a lot. That was awesome. I showed it to my dad, and he's a big Carlin fan anyway. I showed it to him, and he's like, I really like that guy. My dad, he's fucking you'd love my dad. He's ex-military, man. He's proper fucking anti-authoritarian to fuck, man. He was in the Northern Ireland conflict in the 80s, and he's since gone back, and he started shagging an ex-IRA lady. And yeah, man, it was, he's been shaking hands with the Brighton bomber. You know, they've done talks together. I mean, this guy, he drives taxis and he don't give a fuck, man. He's awesome.
That's fucking dope. That's my kind of guy. I appreciate that. Yeah, you know, it was interesting though. I remember when I was up there in like the first 15, 20 seconds, I was sitting there and I was like, oh, dude, I shouldn't have done this. Maybe you should have done that stuff on dating. Christ. Because again, I didn't realize what happened with Danielle. So like the fucking energy in the room was just weird.
You lifted it back up. You lifted it back up.
Yeah. Yeah. I can't remember the exact, but there was something before side effects that actually got, I think it was when I did bleeding ass cancer diarrhea.
Yeah, that's it. That's the one.
It's like, that's not a side effect. That's a bleeding ass cancer diarrhea pill. Stupid. And I think that got them. And then after that, then they were just completely on board. And then when I did side effects, where you just take those effects, put them to the side, ignore them, stupid. Then it was forget about it. And then you can even see it in my body language. Like, you know, the minute's up. So boom, I put the stand down and I step back. And then Tony's like, no, I wanted to hear more of what you brought tonight.
That
you
never
can see
happens.
my body language. Never. And then you can see my body language where I'm like, oh,
you just grab the mic.
And then I just grab it and I'm like, yeah, it's a fake news, right? And I mean, that's where I knew it was just, that was one of those moments where right there, you see it on my face, I knew I won. And now, then it was just cruise control, where it was like, all right, fake news. I know you guys are going to like this. Oh, reverse racism. I know you guys are going to like this.
I love that bit on reverse racism. Loved it.
Like I felt like anything I would have done at that moment. Like, I got you. Go on.
No, I was just saying, once you came off that stage, like, were people patting you on the back? Were people shaking your hand? Like, what was it like walking back?
I walked the wrong way. Well, not the wrong way, but I walked, because we were outside. So technically it's not the wrong way. Because like now they let us go upstairs. So there's stairs you could take. So we had to walk back outside. So I kind of went through the crowd, a lot of fist bumps, whatever else. Like I just scored 40 in a playoff game or whatever else. You know what I mean? It was pretty great. It felt good, you know? I didn't know what to do with my emotions at the time, you know, because like you don't want to celebrate in front of a bunch of comics that have been coming week after week after week, maybe some of them even traveling hours week after week. And then you kind of come out like, yeah, I did great, huh? And they're all sitting there like, I haven't even got. So that aspect, I didn't know what to do. I kept it in. And then when I went and walked to the next open mic, I kind of let loose and patted myself on the back and all that shit, whatever else. But, you know, I tried to stay up for as long as I could that night because I knew once Tuesday morning comes and I wake up, Monday doesn't matter.
Were you buzzing? Because my dad, like, he's a spoken word artist. He does poetry. He does a lot of like interesting things on stage.
I was amped, dude. I was amped.
Yeah, and he talks about buzzing, and then the next day he says the pendulum has to swing both ways, man. He gets hit with that low the next day when he sat in that taxi, like, fuck, why am I here?
I felt like that when I had a day job for sure. Now it's more of just, it's like, I don't know. Yeah, I won that game yesterday, but that was yesterday. There's still a whole season to play. You know what I mean? Like, I did a good job yesterday. Does not mean I'm going to do a good job today.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's not like a bummer, but it's just, it's for me, it's a reality check because I feel like if I keep talking about that moment, like if we're on Thursday and I'm still talking about Monday, I don't think that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Let me focus on Thursday. Monday happened. That was great. It's part of the story. But now it's Thursday, so let's do Thursday.
Yeah.
So that's very much my mentality.
How did your social media blow up once that episode aired? I mean, I know you got us two added.
That episode did really well compared to the one that came out last night.
I seen your story. How come you're a bit up feeling shitty about it? The comments, actually, because I was going through the comments.
It wasn't the comments. It was the live chat.
Oh,
so
okay.
We don't know what that is.
So this is all right. So this is what I do. All right. So Tony's episodes appear like a week or two after. Okay. So last night I'm waiting to get on Kill Tony, and then the episode I was on was premiering. So while I'm waiting, I'm checking in, seeing what people think, because I felt good because of the $4.99. And then so I was like, all right, 501, I'm up after Aloe or whatever, the guy who made fun of Danielle and made him cry. So people will watch that for sure. And then I'll be up. And I was also thinking maybe not that many people watch past Danielle. So maybe this will be like their first take of me. And then someone will write in the comments like, oh, but he was in $4.99 after Danielle. You should check that out. So that was my mentality going in. And then my thing comes on, whatever else. And the live comments are coming in, the live chat as people are watching it. And it is just fucking, it's hate in my guts. Called me a fucking hack. Stan homelessness. Said I was a ripoff of Stanhope. There was a bunch of people saying I didn't have any jokes. A lot of people saying that I've done heroin, which I haven't. A lot of people are saying I'm a meth head. A lot of people are saying I act smarter than I am. There's some other ones I can't remember right now, but I'm just sitting there reading them, and I'm just like, I'm fucking losing.
Well, we can tell you right now from just speaking to you, you've read a lot of books.
It's easy to hate, man. It's easy to hate.
I know it is. I know it is, but it was hard. It's hard to be positive because it's like I'm doing one of the hardest things in entertainment. And not only am I doing one of the hardest things in entertainment, I am also doing it the hardest way.
Yeah.
Like I'm not going up and talking about, hey, what's the deal with fucking, I don't do that shit. I kind of got a bit about it now, but I don't talk about my fucking dick. I don't talk about fucking. I don't find it funny. I find it beautiful. What I find funny is the social constructs that make us fucking 8 years old when it comes to sex. There's a goddamn destabilization of America happening. There is a fucking color revolution that was written by the Russian ambassador to Barack Obama happening right now in this country. I don't think I could sit around and go, hey, what's the deal with lasagna? It doesn't make sense to me. This doesn't fucking make sense.
And real is always funnier, isn't it?
Yeah, and you know what, dude? I've been finding it a little difficult to get stage time in Austin, and if I had better comments, maybe I'd get more. I don't know.
Hey, don't worry about it. Look, you're having a conversation. You're having a conversation with two strangers fucking 5,000 miles away, man. We ain't talking to those fucking knobheads. That's hate.
I know.
Put hateful comments.
They're probably the ones smoking a meth pipe right in there, like, hey, he smells meth.
I know.
Yeah, they're the ones that are fucking commenting on a fucking video. Like, we don't even do that, man. We don't fucking mingle.
Yeah, I recorded a podcast episode this morning, and I went off on those people where it's just like, the people go up on Kill Tony, and then these people sit on their computers and they write things, whatever. And it's just like, we're not novelty yet. Like we're fucking people, man. You know, there's some people that are truly battling depression. There are people that are in the midst of a custody battle with their children. You know what I mean? Like we're people. And to sit there and to be so cruel over 1 minute of a person's life, when again, you don't know what they went through that day to be in that moment. You don't know what they're struggling. They could have had a relative die the day before, and then they're going to be leaving the day after to go to the funeral. And then when they get up on Kill Tony, maybe they're a little nervous, or maybe their head's not in the game, or whatever else. And to sit there and to be so blatantly cruel when these people, and I understand all of this, they do nothing. They don't give or contribute anything to society in a positive way.
Yeah.
They do enjoy being haters, and I get that. But
they're not attacking you, though. Again, it's about your identity.
No, they're attacking themselves. I understand that.
They're attacking a projection of you, not Tim Warner, who you are, the living, breathing soul that you are. They're attacking a projection of you, an interpretation. They're not the same thing. They're not the same thing.
You're 100% right. But it's something that's been, I guess, on my mind or in my sight, because, like, you know, a lot of people, when they see me, you know, they see the fucking dumb mohawk and whatever else, and they think certain things of me. And I've been noticing it more. Like, this place is supposed to be weird, but I stand out. This place ain't that weird. It's been interesting because the hair was never an issue until Houston. And when I was in New York City telling people, like, I'm just fucking going down south and I'm just going to perform. And people are like, you're going to perform in Alabama? And I'm like, fuck yeah, I'm going to perform in Alabama. You bet. And they're like, with that haircut, they're going to fucking internet. I went down to Alabama and those people were fucking great to me. And I never got any fucking cracks about the hair. I go to Houston. Holy shit. They treated me like Alabama there. So it's like, I guess it was never on my mind till recently. So I guess I'm being a little.
I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying, because, you know, America is its weird own little culture. You know, and there's plenty of cultures in America, but, like, you know, the way you look in the UK, people won't even bat an eye because we have different priorities.
That's what I was just gonna say. Am I weird? I don't think it's hers, but do you think it's hers?
No, like, if you're in the UK, no one gives a fuck. Like, they just want to know, can you pay the bill? That's all they care about down here.
Yeah, like, you're a funny guy. That's when then you turn the lights on. No, fuck, nice hair, bro.
Dude, I've walked into a couple places and they have not served me.
For what?
Here in Austin. And it's just like, it's amazing to me. And
For
I don't know
What's
what
their
it
reason?
is.
I'm sorry.
I have no idea, but
ponytails.
I'll go at a table. Like, I've done this. I've gone into a bar, whatever, pub as you guys call it. I sit down at a thing, and then I'm waiting there 5 minutes for the waitress. I see her go up to other tables. So then I go up to the bar. I ask for a menu, and then they tell me I can do a QR code. And I said, that's fucking adorable. I see menus right there. Can I please have a menu? I want to touch a menu. So they give me the menu, and I'll go sit down, and then the waitress will never come to me, and I'll go, hey, and just to go, I'll be right with you. It never comes, so I just end up leaving. And that's happened to me 3 times in Austin. And I don't know. I don't know why it is. I don't drink.
It's a blessing in disguise. It's a blessing in disguise. That hair's a filter for bullshit. You know who your friends are with that haircut. Put it that way. Yes. I agree with you. Like COVID was a blessing in disguise for me in a way, because I know who the cunts are more than ever. They're not hiding. They're not hiding. Shrouded in mystery.
COVID, this medicinal martial law is maybe top 3 greatest things that have ever happened.
Yeah,
medicinal martial law. Sounds like I can smoke it.
Yeah, I want to smoke me some martial law. It sounds like.
That's why that Ray Kurzweil, either we're going to repair ourselves to where basically we become machine, or we download our consciousness into some kind of mainframe, some kind of machine. And I would never want that kind of world, man, because I like those little moments, you know?
It's a bit off subject, but see when you get those porn adverts and it's like the animated and it's like, this will make you come in 20 seconds. It's like, no, I want actual veiny penis and vagina, please, thank you.
Do you know what's funny?
Yeah, plus, why do you want to come in 20
seconds? Exactly.
Like the whole part of it, the whole fun of the orgasm, the whole when your quads go numb. That's because you were sitting there kind of tugging for a little bit. You're getting that blood flowing. You need a little bit of a story. You need a little bit of a foreplay. Why does this stepmom want to fuck her stepson? I need to know these kind of little things. And then when I can see the story and I can hear how she reacts and I can see how he acts, and then when it's built up, then I fucking blow a load and the legs go numb. And then you do that in 20 seconds, dude, you could break it.
Yeah, I laugh, right? Like how porn has its own comment section. And I remember seeing a porn comment where some dude just put, "This is tagged as lesbian anal. This isn't lesbian anal at all. Report to admin." I'm just thinking, dude, when I bust that nut, I go on with my day. Like, who has time to leave a comment? Can you imagine some admin in some little cubicle like, "Oh, I'm so sorry you feel this way about this pornographic video." It's like, dude.
I think it's funny when people say they watch porn, because I masturbate to it. I don't watch it. I
can't wait to see where this is going. Can't wait. What plot twists are going to occur in this?
Here's something that's kind of funny. Was it like right after Valentine's Day, 2020? I said that I was going to go 90 days without an orgasm. I was going to go 90 days without an orgasm. They call it no fap. And I went, and I went 90 days. Well, then the lockdown happened about a month in, and then I went 2 months without an orgasm during the medicinal martial law. And I will say, one of the best things I ever did.
Fair enough. Man.
One of the best. Yeah. Like if we can get past like the childish like joking thing about it, it's first of all it's been talked about for centuries. If you read a lot of like was it Napoleon Hill, like Dale Carnegie, they talked about like, what is it? It's not transmutation. But basically like this, all right? The energy that you give off when you blow a load, right? So you're sitting there jacking, whatever, and then all the joy juice that comes out. If you were to keep that in, okay? One, what it does when it comes to women. One, your pheromones, whatever, they're gonna be very high. Like if you walked into a bar or pub and let's say I didn't jack off for 90 days and you jacked off a day earlier, my pheromones, whatever, would be stronger than yours. Women would be attracted to me more just because I've been holding in my love. And then what that also does is, because you're not getting laid, it makes you have to come up with creative ways to get laid. Like since you're not jacking off. So honestly, when it came to my creativity, when it came to like comedy wise, whatever else, when you wake up in a day and you know you're not going to spend any time on an orgasm, you will put that time and energy into so many other things. And I think it's what started, like, here we are now having this conversation based off the Kill Tony. All of those successes and whatever else and that creativity, I think a lot of it, the pinpoint came from that, no pun intended, but came from that 3 months. Believe it or not.
I know what you're saying, like, there is a psychological thing, like it's like anything, it can be an addiction. There's also a psychological aspect to it. I've been in a relationship for 1.5 years, and this girl is literally my soulmate. Like, I want to kill her sometimes, but that's because she's my soulmate. She's a female version of me. She's 5 years older than me, and I've never met someone who she challenges me on such a deep intellectual level that I'm like, I found the one, right? And she never kisses my ass. She she'll criticize me to the point where it makes me a better person. Not like me is who I am, but on a intellectual level with my writing and stuff. My book is the way it is now because she criticized the second draft. She tore it to pieces. So I licked my wounds and came back, and she gave me the thumbs up with the final draft. She's like, "That's it. You did it. You did it." All right, and so I'm working in a gym, and there's these like attractive looking females, and they're like talking to me now because I'm talking to them in a way that I'm not trying to get laid by these women. I'm trying to just have an intellectual discussion with them, and they're talking to me. They're being receptive because I'm in a happy relationship. You know?
Yep. Yeah. I mean, it kind of sucked that there was the lockdown and then like I couldn't go out to places and whatever else and kind of see how much this worked or didn't work. But creatively and like writing and just organizing time and everything, it took me to a whole nother level. And now I'm at a point where I'm trying to do it just once a month. And like I said, sometimes, dude, I'm like, I don't like sleeping in general. I don't like it.
Why is that?
It's a fucking waste of time. It's a waste of time.
I fucking love sleeping, dude. I'm like,
I hate it, dude. I hate it.
I'm like Dom Cobb.
You know what I love the feeling of being tired, like I don't mind really earning. What?
I don't mind earning sleep, but I don't like it. Like I do about maybe 4 hours a night, and I get mad if I do more than that.
Well, I'm nocturnal. I try I don't mean to. I think I've been doing it for years, but I stay up till like the early hours and then sleep till the afternoon time.
Well, speaking of sleep, I got to go to sleep soon myself, but
that's right. I forget that you guys are like what
10:30,
6 hours ahead.
Yeah, 10:30 over here. But before we wrap up,
yes,
no pun intended. So as many thing now. What's your favorite movie?
Ooh,
or TV show, or both.
Ooh, okay. Favorite movie? There's a toss up. Between Paul Thomas Anderson's Magnolia and 7 Pounds.
7 Pounds,
really?
Yeah, it's a Will Smith movie.
I know, but I get such fucking I hate being. I mean, it is a good movie. When I watched it, it made me cry like a fucking bitch. But I just.
He's got two movies. Got two movies I absolutely love, and I cry every time.
Pursuit of Happiness.
7 Pounds. Yeah, In Pursuit of Happiness.
The problem I don't like about 7 Pounds is I hate it when I feel like I'm being emotionally blackmailed, like Hollywood baiting movies, like Oscar baiting movies. Like you got your pay it forwards, you've got your 7 pounds. You know what I mean? Like they really try to. This is the bit where like a canned laughter you get in TV shows. Like this is the bit where you're meant to laugh. This is the bit where you're meant to cry. You know what I mean? I get, but it's been 10 years since I watched 7 Pounds, and I loved it when I watched it. It's just in hindsight, I need to watch it again.
Yeah. The writer was this Italian guy. He hasn't done many movies. I think he might have done one other movie. I hit him up on Facebook and he wrote me back because I told him how much I just absolutely loved 7 Pounds and the idea behind it and the jellyfish, the whole nine.
Yeah,
and he wrote me back. He wrote me back a beautiful thing. Yeah. So I know it's a Will Smith movie, but I love it. I like
Will Smith.
It's about helping people and shit. And I'm with you on the Oscar aspects, but there's a beauty to that. I liked watching him try to find good people. And then there was that one guy at the nursing home, and then he found out how much
that
scumbag
was my favorite scene.
And
that's my favorite scene in that movie.
Yeah, it's really great. TV shows. And Magnolia is just an amazing piece of art. Paul Thomas Anderson is my favorite director.
Love his symmetry. Love his symmetry.
Everything about. I mean, dude, Magnolia. I don't think the camera stops moving. And I'm being dead serious. Even if there's someone talking, it's still this slow close up. Even if Julianne Moore's in the fucking pharmaceutical thing, being like, "Don't call me lady," It's still like the zoom in. You know, when it follows Jimmy Gator around the office, like it's just that dude, his writing, his fucking everything. He is just.
I'm a big fan.
I hope to be in a movie someday.
I'm a big fan of. I think his name is Cuaron. He directed Children of Men. He directed Harry Potter 3. And and Gravity. You know, Children of Men's got some amazing long takes. They're just fucking breathtaking.
Yeah.
You know,
and. What'd you say? TV shows? Well, I think probably the greatest TV show of all time, in my opinion, it's got to be South Park.
Yeah.
I mean, I think, I mean, with all due respect to Dave Chappelle, Matt Stone and Trey Parker are the two funniest people in the world. I'm sorry.
Team America. I mean, come on, Team America.
Team America, Book of Mormon, for Christ's sakes. Like, and then just South Park, how they don't hit a thing. They hit everything. And like they get both sides and they mock everything. It's just, and they're so on the pulse of fucking people, man. That show, it never ceased to make me want to write more.
Yeah, I love their structure, their take on writing. They say if you use but and then, you failed. But if you use however or therefore, that's their writing formula, and I love that.
I have never heard that, dude, and that makes all the fucking sense in the world. Holy Christ, that is brilliant. Yeah. Oh wow, say that one more time for me. I
might be butchering it. I'll send you a link to the video itself. Fine. But they say that if you use and then, or how, you know, you failed it.
And then, yeah.
But if you use therefore
and however,
and rather talk about the consequences of the reaction.
Yeah.
Therefore.
Oh, sorry. It's the first time hearing it. That's fucking beyond brilliant.
Yeah, I'll send you a link because it explains it better. But
please. What else? I liked Arrested Development, the first 3 seasons. I thought that was a lot of fun for a TV show, how it was written and everything. A lot of fun. Wonder Years, I absolutely love with all my heart. We didn't have it as big here, but yeah, I remember late 90s, early aughts. But granted, that's also when I was drinking. I was 21 around that time, and like
we were born in 92, man.
Yeah. Dude, 92 is the greatest year. Yeah, I was born in 78.
Fair play, man. So Michael Jackson was still black when you were born.
Yes, he was. Yeah, he was a kid. Instead of fucking him, he was one.
He was fucking himself awkwardly. Like, why am I doing this? Jehovah's gonna hate me.
Yeah, dude, 92 was great, man. We had the dream team.
Yeah, it was great. Yeah, came out the womb.
LA riots.
Yeah, man.
Good year.
It was a word.
Yeah,
what I like about 1992 the most is that the Queen considers it the worst year of her life. So that makes.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
why is it?
Because
why is it the worst year of her life?
Her sister died. Diana and Prince Charles got divorced. All sorts of shit went down.
Okay. So I was gonna say, I think that Diana might be, when she died. I thought that would be up there.
Nah, because she did that.
The Queen didn't give a fuck about Diana.
Yeah, she did that shit.
She did, didn't she?
Yeah, man. She was the one.
That's a shame.
She was pretending to be that paparazzi.
She was driving.
She was driving. It was Queen Elizabeth.
Yeah,
and that would have gone away. And that would have gone away with meddling fucking Republicans.
Probably the same person that was driving the motorcade in Dallas back in '63.
Hey, she was the one that flew that plane into that building, mate. Because people
Queen, she's one motherfucking.
People putting pictures like, look at the Queen crying. It's like, lizards don't cry. What are you on about?
Yeah, why not? Okay, let me ask you guys a question.
Gonians. Okay.
Why the fuck are you still doing Kings and Queens?
Because there's so many cunts in our country that are sycophants that like waving flags made in China and think,
mate, you see them? They're in their crowds like, woo!
Yeah,
who are these people? Who pays?
Because they think that it brings tourism to the country. Yet the French killed their royalty hundreds of years ago, and people actually get to go inside the castles now, and it makes more money.
All right, forgive me. This is where the American's gonna come out in me. What is Amsterdam considered? Netherlands, whatever.
The Netherlands. What about it?
That's its own thing,
It's
or is that like?
All right, so
Does it have a president?
You got the Netherlands, and then you've got Holland,
Yeah.
which is a district of the Netherlands. So they hate it when they're referred to as Holland. But
Okay.
it's its own sovereign nation in the European Union. You know. But,
Okay. Because I was just trying to think of reasons why Americans go over to England, and the only thing I've really heard a lot is there's mushroom tea in Amsterdam or something.
Yeah, you can pretty much like prostitution's legal over there.
Right.
You know,
Right.
you can smoke weed. Mushrooms aren't.
Yeah, there's coffee shops to go smoke weed, and
But
yeah,
Spain, but I never got to experience Amsterdam properly because my girlfriend was underage, so we couldn't smoke anywhere. But last year, I went to Alicante, which is in Spain, where weed is decriminalized, and I fucking got high within 30 minutes of getting off that plane. I went to go see my uncle. I didn't. I went to go get high, but he had a place to stay, so I don't.
Did it suck? Did it suck being legal?
It's pretty much legal around here now anyway. Like you're never going to get stopped by the cops.
But does it suck?
That it's illegal.
That is legal.
That is it? Yeah. Does it suck?
I've never experienced legal weed, so I reckon
we got CBD over here. You know what?
Oh, fuck CBD.
Less people.
I think it kind of sucks.
Less people would smoke weed if it was legal here. Weirdly enough, like I smoke weed on and off. Like if someone said, "Oh, do you want to come to the coffee shop and smoke some weed with me?" If it was legal in this country, I wouldn't. I'd be like, "No, I'll just smoke weed in my own house. I don't like leaving the house when I'm high. I can do it, but I'd rather not."
Yeah, man.
I like the fact that not everyone can get it. I think there's something to it. Like it's just like people who go out drinking on St. Patty's Day, where it's just amateur bullshit. So now if weed's legal, you're going to get all these dummies that would never have smoked weed that probably aren't good at it. Now they're puffing away thinking they're a hashtag and whatever else. And it sucks. It takes away the culture. It takes away a lot of the fun now that everyone's doing it. It's just like, that blows.
Well, it becomes a parody of itself, doesn't it? It's like with the punk movement in the 70s.
Exactly.
In the 70s, right? People were so poor in America and Britain that people couldn't afford the trendy clothes. So they'd rip up their own clothes and put badges on them and put patches and they'd give it its own identity. But then 10 years later, when the high street started selling punk clothes, it became a parody of itself and lost all its meaning.
Yep. Just like what they did with
it's like Jurassic Park 3.
That's an inside joke.
I saw that
That's an inside joke. There's a scene in Jurassic Park 3 where Sam Neill's having a nightmare and he just sees a velociraptor go, Alan. And it's the worst scene in the movie. Therefore, it's the best scene in the entire fucking franchise. A velociraptor. Who thought that was a good idea? Alan.
And it's probably the only practical dinosaur in the film as well. On an airplane, in a dream, saying a man's name. A dinosaur speaking English.
It's just beautiful.
Sorry, we went off subject.
It's beautiful.
No, it's all right. I never saw the first one. And then during the fucking lockdown. During the lockdown, my roommates, it was on like TNT or something. And then they were making fun of me for not watching it. So then we watched it. And then I was like, yeah, this is why I didn't watch it. This movie sucks.
Yeah.
It really blows. This is all garbage.
Yeah.
Well, the first one.
Like, I know you're supposed to suspend your, disbelief or whatever. It's like, okay, fine. Yeah. But this isn't even non-believable. Like, this is garbage.
It was good.
I don't know.
It was good for its time. Like, like when it comes to special effects, like I got all day, I got all the time in the world for Terminator 2. Straight, Terminator 2, man. That's my fucking jam. I got so high once that I cried. I cried during Terminator 2. That's
a 92.
Yeah, no, that's
Did
91.
You really?
No, I was so high that I just cried at the beauty of the movie. Not even anything.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I ain't watched it for a while, but if I watched it now and caught the end, man, that's quite sad, isn't it?
It's not even the end. This is the whole film. Like the scene where Sarah Connor is just watching her son play with the Terminator,
you get so fucking emotionally attached to a robot. He doesn't really speak. He's just like, yes, no, your dog is dead. You know what I mean? But you love him.
Hey, but he was a better father to John.
Exactly.
Than John's father was to him.
That scene fucking gets me every time.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I'm with you too.
Where he wipes the tear from his.
Yeah.
No, when
Yeah,
Sarah
dude,
Connor,
and then-
when Sarah Connor is watching John Connor play with the Terminator, and she in her monologue she says he will never leave him. He will never get drunk. He will never say he's not good enough. He will be there for the rest of his life or its
But
life.
that's why the ending's so fucking sad.
Dude, that line is so great. Like, I know why you cry now. That's fucking.
There you go.
Dude, that's
Even the
really
scene
that
when
is
she's banging,
really good.
when she's banging on the fence trying to warn people about the bomb. You know, there's a short story in my novel called The Last Man, when the artificial intelligence is actually there with the last human being of existence, and he presents himself as a being made of bright light, and they reconcile their differences, and he helps the last man let go into death, and you know that's the pinnacle of the story.
Oh wow.
And
Dude.
he says, you are going to go to a place that even goes beyond my own comprehension. You know, that's what the AI says and he says, he made extensions of itself all around the world, but now he's forever destined to tread this earth alone. You know, that was its destiny. And it said it can't go back and fix it because it has to conquer itself before that can happen.
Oh, that is great. Wow, dude, keep writing.
I was finished, dude.
Some fucking.
I finished,
you got
dude.
some ideas, dude. But do more. Keep doing more. You got great ideas, dude. You know, it's really brought a lot to light, and the human spirit is very valuable and very important. And I hope we don't lose 2019. I really don't.
You know, I experienced some weirdness in 2019, out working in the gym, seeing people working out, thinking that everyone was on an upward trajectory with their lives. And for me, 2019 was the year of the ego for a lot of these people, not so much us, but for a lot of the, the people that were working out, looking themselves in the mirror, doing their shoulder raises, you know what I mean? The year of the ego. And then everybody was, clinking glasses on New Year's Day saying, this is our year. And that ego got fucking knocked. And it kind of, in a sick way, it kind of made me feel happy. It's like, yeah, fuck you guys. You fucking bicep curls.
Yeah. And if their egos are really that strong, then they would have realized that they didn't have to do any of that.
Yeah.
They just followed.
It allowed people like us to come out the woodwork and embrace our creativity.
Yeah. Well, like I said, with here, I do feel the energy here is Seattle 91. I do think a grunge of comedy is coming. And hopefully, if you guys, you dig my work, there's a lot of people out here, the Chappelles and the Rogans and the Tim Dillons, and the Honest Pappases and the Andrew Schultzes, they're out here, and I think they're saying shit. And there's more of us being built, because the PC culture is making it so we don't talk about things. And us not talking about things is how all of these problems have been created.
Yeah.
I mean, Christ, dude, we got news over here where our government, we're sitting there on the news, and it's like the government's wondering why there is so much Asian hate. And it's like, well, we learned it from watching you, stupids. Like, you don't remember after World War II, when the war was over, you dropped 2 atomic bombs on Japan that were unnecessary. You just did that to flex your fucking cock to the rest of the fucking world. And then your Looney Tunes. Yeah.
Like George Carlin says, isn't it a coincidence that rockets are shaped like dicks? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
George Carlin does that.
Yeah. It's just, it's utterly amazing to me. It's like we learned it from watching you fucking idiots. Yeah, I mean, Christ, dude. Carlin talks about it when we put Japanese in camps in America. I mean, you look at the Looney Tunes or like the Three Stooges from back in those days, dude. There is so much fucking Asian mockery and whatever else. So to sit there and go, where is this coming from? Is it because of Trump? It's like, stupid. You've been hating them for fucking years.
Short-term memory, like we said about the gas prices.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's the thing that sucks with time. You get a generation that dies, and then they fucking manipulate the story of that generation for the generation after. It's fucking rough, dude. History's written by the winners.
Yeah, man. Anyway, I'm gonna have to get going because
Yeah.
my family are asleep now. I could do this all fucking night. We'll have to do this again though, Tim. So I appreciate it.
Yeah, I
100%,
hope
man.
I hope this is what you wanted and whatever else.
Everything and more.
With the podcast.
Everything
Good.
and
Anything
more.
goes, man.
And
You're awesome, bro.
just keep doing what you do, man. You know, people like you're gonna get a lot of hatred thrown your way, but you know, the people who are most silent are the ones who support you the most. You know, because we don't fucking write on Reddit, we don't write on YouTube comments, but we're here supporting you.
Exactly.
Indeed. And this has been a pleasure. I can't believe I'm talking to people over the pond, for Christ's sake.
Yeah, man.
All because I wrote a couple jokes. It's pretty amazing what this life can offer. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's
That's it,
fucking
man.
incredible, dude. It's incredible.